Imagine this. 3 weeks ago, you made your very last mortgage payment. You're 52 years old. You own your home, worth a solid $675,000, completely free and clear. No mortgage, no credit card debt, no lingering student loans. Your friends throw a party for you. Your family calls, full of congratulations. Every personal finance guru on the planet would tell you that you've won the game. This is the dream, right? This is exactly what happened to a woman named Patricia. And for a moment, she felt incredibly proud. Then, life happened. Her air conditioner died. In the middle of a heat wave, of course. The quote for a replacement came back, $11,000. Patricia looked at her accounts. She had $4,200 in checking and about $18,000 in her emergency savings. To cover the repair, she'd have to either wipe out almost her entire safety net or go right back into debt. So she called the bank. They quickly approved her for a home equity line of credit, AHELOC. And just like that, after spending 15 years clawing her way out of debt, Patricia was right back where she started. She was borrowing against the very house she had just finished paying off. Think about that. She owns a $675,000 asset, but she can't handle an $11,000 emergency without taking on new debt. Her net worth on paper is over $690,000, but her actual financial flexibility is practically zero. She had traded liquidity for equity. She traded cash in the bank for a number on a piece of paper. And that equity, that number on paper, can't keep her house cool in the summer. This is the dark side of homeownership that nobody ever talks about. Paying off your mortgage feels like the ultimate freedom, but for so many people, it quietly builds a fragile financial house of cards that collapses the moment real life shows up. Now, this isn't an argument for staying in debt forever. Not at all. It's an argument against locking up all of your wealth in a place you can't get to when you desperately need it. This is what I call the equity trap. The lie we're all taught sounds so simple and appealing. A paid-off house equals financial security. No more monthly payments. No more lender breathing down your neck. No more risk. But this belief completely ignores a brutal, fundamental reality. Equity is not cash. Patricia's $675,000 in home equity doesn't pay for emergency repairs. It doesn't cover unexpected medical bills. It won't pay the bills if she loses her job. It won't let her seize a new business opportunity. It doesn't help with any of life's expensive surprises. That massive chunk of her net worth just sits there. It's illiquid. It's untouchable, at least not without a lot of friction, paperwork, and new debt. While that number looks great on her financial statement, she's scrambling for cash to solve a real-world problem. According to the Federal Reserve, a shocking 37% of Americans can't cover a simple $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. But what that statistic hides is how many of those people are technically wealthy, just like Patricia. Their wealth is trapped inside the walls of their homes, inaccessible without jumping through hoops and paying interest. Patricia did everything she was told was right. She followed the standard financial playbook to the letter, and she still ended up stuck. Let's look at the math that almost nobody runs. Patricia's original mortgage was for $320,000 at a 4.2% interest rate. For the last 5 years of that mortgage, she got aggressive. She paid an extra $1,000 every single month directly toward the principal. That's an extra $60,000 she pushed into her home equity just to pay it off faster. Now, what if she had done something different? What if, instead of sending that extra grand to the bank, she had invested it into a simple, boring S&P 500 index fund? Assuming a conservative average return of 10% per year, that $60,000 would have grown to about $78,000 in liquid investments today. So in this alternate reality, the air conditioner breaks. The $11,000 bill arrives. What does she do? She just sells a small portion of her investments and writes a check. No new debt. No stress. No panicked calls to the bank. But that's not what happened. In her reality, by paying off the mortgage early, she saved about $13,000 in mortgage interest. That sounds good, right? But in the process, she gave up a potential $18,000 in investment growth. She's already behind. But worse, she completely lost access to her own money. Now, to fix her AC, she is forced to borrow against her home with a HELOC at an interest rate of 7% or more, which is significantly higher than the 4.2% mortgage she worked so hard to eliminate. She didn't escape interest. She just upgraded to a more expensive kind of interest. She paid off cheap debt only to take on expensive debt. And the cost isn't just about emergencies. There's a huge opportunity cost that no one ever sees. Just recently, Patricia was offered a chance to buy a 20% equity stake in a small. Here's the key takeaway. Equity doesn't create options. Liquidity creates options. Cash gives you the power to choose. Having a high net worth locked in a liquid asset doesn't give you freedom. It actually limits your choices. This brings us to a crucial mindset shift. Debt isn't the ultimate enemy. Illiquidity is. Eliminating all your debt without maintaining a strong cash position isn't financial responsibility. It's financial fragility. Think about it. A mortgage with a low interest rate, say 3 or 4%, is one of the cheapest forms of debt you can have. It costs you $4,000 a year in interest for every $100,000 you've borrowed. If that same $100,000 could be invested and earn 7, 8, or 10% in the market, you're coming out ahead financially. And more importantly, you remain flexible. You have access to that capital. Research from financial institutions consistently shows that households with a moderate amount of low-interest debt, but strong liquidity, plenty of cash, and accessible investments are far better equipped to handle financial shocks than debt-free households with no cash. Security isn't having zero debt. Security is having options. So how do you avoid this equity trap? First, stop making extra mortgage payments until you have a robust emergency fund. I'm talking at least 6 months of living expenses, sitting in a high-yield savings account where you can get to it immediately. Second, do the math. Compare your mortgage interest rate to the realistic potential returns you could get from investing. Don't let your emotions about being debt-free override the cold, hard numbers. If your mortgage is at 3.5% and the market has historically returned 10%, paying off that mortgage early is a losing proposition. Third, be proactive. Consider opening a HELOC before you need it, when you're not in a panic. The approval process is much easier when you're not desperate, and it can sit there unused as a low-cost emergency line of credit, just in case. Finally, if you find yourself in Patricia's position asset-rich and cash-poor, think about strategically converting some of that equity back into liquidity. This could mean a cash-out refinance or using a HELOC not just for emergencies, but to fund investments that will grow your wealth faster than your home will appreciate. Remember, debt can be managed. Being illiquid and unable to act cannot. The real ending to Patricia's story is that she didn't become financially free when she paid off her house. She just became wealthy on paper and fragile in reality. Her house doesn't give her options, it limits them. True financial freedom isn't about having a net worth of 0 or a mortgage balance of 0. It's about having the ability to act when life inevitably changes, to seize opportunities, and to handle emergencies with confidence, not with panic. And if you can't handle an $11,000 emergency without going back into debt, you're not free. You're just broke in a much more expensive house. Thanks for watching. If this video made you rethink your financial strategy, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges conventional wisdom. See you in the next one.